What's going on, everybody? Stefan here, and I'm with one of our clients, Doug from Pursuit. Doug's been with us since about end of August, beginning of September-ish is when he really started his program. He's made an awesome physical transformation. We're recording this mid-March, literally March 15th today. So it's been about 6 months-ish in the program. He's done awesome. He's welcomed actually a lot of other people in the program just because of his transformation, friends, family, stuff like that. So Doug, do you mind introducing yourself and telling people a little bit about yourself?
Yes, Doug McQuitty. I live in Texas. Like Stevin said, I've been with Pursuit since the end of August, 1st of September. 46 years old. I work in oil and gas sales, so busy life. Um, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. And so I know when you first came to us, the goals. Well, let me ask you this. When you first came to us, I'll just ask, what were your like big goals? Like I know you kind of stumbled upon us from another coach I know and a referral and but like when you came looking for a coach, like what did you want to achieve, man?
So my main goal was I'm a single guy. I've got two daughters. I was previously married. My goal was I wanted to go to a pool party or to the beach, take my shirt off and look, halfway decent. I didn't want the dad bod, the beer belly. So I wanted to put a little muscle on, lose the guts, and just look a little healthier. Just really just trying to kind of change my physique.
Yeah, yeah. And you've done a really good job, and I wish we could just like pop up the before and after photos. But I think when you first came to us, like you did kind of have a dad bod going, right? It looked a little bit
A little bit.
softer, not a ton of, I mean, you actually are a pretty muscular guy, but like it's hard to tell too when you have fat on it, right? And here we are 6 months later, and like Doug has abs, man. He's pretty shredded. You've lost a lot of weight. Do you know how much weight you've lost since the beginning of the program?
So I think my first weigh-in with Pursuit was probably around the 10th of September. It took me a while to kind of get going with the weigh-ins and stuff. I think my first weigh-in I was 218, 219. November the 15th this morning, I was 180, 183 this morning. So
Wow.
I initially started out body fat. I was probably around 22, 23%. And last Monday, a week ago, I went and got an in-body test. I was 12.6%.
Bro, that's insane. 10% body fat in like 6 months. And you're down like what, like 30?
35 to 40 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nuts. That's crazy. And I always like to say this too, and we do these is like number one, good job. That's a testament to you. Like, yes, we provide you with all the tools and the guidance and the accountability, but like you've been putting in the work since day one. And one other thing that I know we chatted about before this is like you had a big game changer for you for the weight loss, and that was cutting out alcohol, right? Because when in your line of work, and I know we have other people in a program like this too, like alcohol is just kind of a part of like of your job almost, right? Like socializing, drinking. I know there's another sales person that is in our program that's like, dude, I cannot go out to dinner and not like everybody's having cocktails. Like I don't want to be that person, but walk us through like where you were with like the alcohol in the beginning and what it looks like now and cutting that out and how that's kind of helped.
So I'm gonna back up a little bit. I'm gonna give a little kudos to Steven here. When he interviewed me, or when we first had our visit, he told me, "Hey, if you'll cut alcohol out for 120 days, I can change your physique." I questioned it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, first of all, I can't cut alcohol for 120 days. That's not in my blood because of what I do. I entertain customers, go to lunch, go to events, go to gun shoots, golf tournaments, just social drinking and weddings. I have a good group of friends that we all enjoy adult beverages. So I knew at that point I was like, yeah, this isn't realistic. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do it with the alcohol. I went about 6 weeks, I guess. I guess it was in September, October. October 31st, I thought, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna quit drinking for 30 days. I'm not gonna do the 120. A couple days in, I was like, you know what? I'll just go to the end of the year, which would have been, roughly 60 days, November, December. And then I decided, you know what? I'm gonna give it 120 days. So we should be at probably close to 130 plus days today. I've had a couple shots. Went on a trip a couple weeks ago, a golf trip, and had a couple shots. But the day I quit drinking alcohol on a regular basis, and I say I was drinking 5, 6 days a week, 7 to 8 plus 10 beers a day at the time. Since I quit drinking alcohol, it's been a game changer for me. The weight is shredded off. Like I said, the first couple weeks, I was floating around 4 or 5 pound weight loss. November 1st, no, October 31st, November 1st. The weight, I think I was 211, 212 then. And like I said, I'm 183 now. So the weight shredded off of me. Energy is way better. I've got told a lot I look younger
Yeah.
by my pictures, and I feel better. It's a lot easier to go to the gym at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning when you didn't have 7 or 8 beers the night before. So lifestyle's changed. Like I said, I feel better. Weight's better. All around the board. I'm happy I've done what I've done. So
Yeah.
and kudos to Steph for kind of pushing me a little bit. So
Yeah. I'm proud of you. And like for those of you listening too, like I never tell any of our clients don't drink, do drink anything. But I know when I talk to Doug, I'm like, okay, I see where and I look at when I was in the military, I didn't really drink too much during the weekdays, but every weekend, I'd hung out with the partiers and the mechanics and they were getting after it. And that's just the culture. And I knew for me that when I really cut out alcohol, like first it was a mental thing because I know after I drank, I was like had really bad anxiety, um, pretty bad depression, which I think most people experience if they drink, and the next day it's like, and I wanted that to go away. But then I also realized the physique, like I was holding on to a lot of water, I was bloated, and I was like eating healthy and training hard. And so I'm like, dude, like, why am I not looking how I wanted to? As soon as I like cut out alcohol, like I said, for 120 days, I got like front cover magazine photo shoot ready. That's the only thing I changed. I was like, wow, that was literally the only thing that was holding me back. And then so when Doug came, I'm like, yeah, here, dude, if you do this, life changing. And like, he doesn't even look like the same person. Even your skin, right? Like right now, you look a lot more like healthy and vibrant. Um, and not everybody's maybe would drink at the same amount, but we've had other clients too that were just social drinkers, drink on the weekend stuff, really done that, cut out alcohol or like greatly, greatly reduced it. Every time, dude, they get shredded. And I have nothing against alcohol. I love beer. I still drink casually, but yeah, making it like not so much of like every time I go out, I have to have drinks has really changed my physique, my mental health. And so kudos to you too. It's not easy, especially when you're around that environment, man. And then like being able to set yourself apart is really challenging. So good job on that. Now I do want to dive into um just like the scheduling, right? Like the biggest thing for online programs is some people are like, how are you going to make it? And when I say it, the exercise, the nutrition, the lifestyle, like how are you going to make that work with my lifestyle? Now I know you've been working with Coach Mike, awesome coach. How do you think we've done that with you? How's that experience been integrating it to a program that fits for you?
it's really been pretty easy for the most part. There are challenges, and I think a lot of it I get told by several people, man, you're way disciplined. And that's the main key is gym to me is not an option now. It was. At first I was like, I'll go, I'll do this. But now, I mean, it's like I make dang sure that's part of my day.
Yep.
Either I try to do it in the mornings and sometimes I just can't with whatever the schedule is. I'll go at night, I'll go at lunchtime. I just make sure it's part of my daily routine. It's not an option anymore. It's like taking a shower, it's like brushing my teeth. It's going to
Yep.
happen. Nutrition, I'm really not a picky eater. And obviously, if you do the macros right, you can pretty much eat anything you
Yeah.
want as long as you
Yeah.
stay within your macros. It helps me out that I'm not a sweet eater. So I don't crave the carbs, but I do eat what I want. I don't feel like I'm limited. I don't feel like I'm being restricted on quote quote a diet.
Yeah.
I eat, man. I want to eat a steak. I eat a steak. If I want to eat a tortilla, I eat a tortilla.
Yeah.
I implement it all into my nutrition. Probably the most challenging thing that I've come across is since the end of December, I have traveled a lot. Sometimes they're weekend trips. Sometimes I've been gone 3 different times. I've been gone a week. Some of it was flying, some of it was driving.
Yeah.
I pack cooler when I drive, and I take what I need to in the cooler. When I travel on an airplane, I have my snacks that I take, quote my healthy snacks, to help fit in with my nutrition. And I rent hotel rooms with kitchens, and if I can, and I cook my food. Uh, but I still go out and enjoy dinner.
Yeah.
That's really where I still go out when I'm traveling. I still go out and eat, hamburger. I don't feel like I've been restricted on anything.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
love that, dude. And look, this is from somebody that is in sales, he travels a lot, has kids, like like you don't have a life where you just sit at a desk 9 to 5, you have your mini fridge right there. Like, you're traveling and doing all this stuff. And I mean, I would say the same thing. Like when people ask me, like, okay, well, you're pretty shredded. What diet are you on? I go, diet. I'm not on a diet. Um, they're like, well, how do you eat? And I go, well, here's how I eat. And and I did a podcast episode on this, like more nutritional constructs, which is I know what Mike kind of follows for himself and teaches you and Pursuits taught you is like, I want you to go enjoy yourself. I don't want you to feel restricted. If you feel restricted, my next question would be, okay, so it kind of sucks. You're like, well, yeah. Okay, how long do you want to keep that up? Like, I want to get off as quick as I want, right? So if we feel restricted, if we feel like, man, there's all these things I can't do, human nature, we're going to be like trying to get rid of it. But if it's like, hey, I could do this for the next, like, I don't know, forever. Like this is pretty like sustainable. Even if it took you longer to get results, which obviously has been not your case in a good way, um, it is better long term. And like you've also made insane progress. Yes, you're a very disciplined person. Um, but you made insane progress without having to be restrictive. Because some people would hear, man, down 10% body fat, 35 to 40 pounds in 6 months, keto. Like you must have done keto. You must have just worked out 7 days a week. Like, because those are crazy results. Now I know you've been implementing some like intermittent fasting and some other things to be more aggressive with your weight loss, and that's really good. But like people are gonna ask, like, how did the training happen too, right? Like, let me pick your brain for that. How many days a week were you usually in the gym?
When I first started, we were 4 days a week. Um, I would work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Um, uh, Going back to Coach Mike, first of all, you said he's a good coach. I don't agree with that. I think he's a great coach.
Yeah,
So
great.
I'm gonna add that in there. Um, and then there were things he's like, "Hey, I'd like to work on this with you. I'd like to work on this with you." And he would, "Do you mind working out a few more?" So we started adding some stuff. And I don't spend hours in the gym. Um, Most of my workouts, I'm going to say my core workouts, my Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday workouts, they're anywhere from an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. I'm in and out of there real quick, and my I work out. So I do some stuff on Wednesdays now, and I do usually something on a Saturday or Sunday, and they're usually like a 20 minute, maybe 15, 20 minute little quick, either pulling sleds
Yeah.
or ab works. To me, I call them just simple workouts. They're just kind of routine workouts,
Yep.
or maintenance workouts, I guess. So I don't work out hours and hours of the day. I think my longest workout's probably been an hour and 20 minutes most. So it's they're not. I don't work out. I mean, like I said, 4 days a week, hour to an hour and 10 minutes at the most. Some of them are
Yeah.
45 minutes. Some of them are an hour. So yeah, I don't work
Yeah.
out every day a week. So
And now when you travel, I'm guessing, I'm just going to throw this out here. If not, I'll have to hound him. But Coach Mike's probably been adjusting your workouts for the equipment you have access to and the places you're going, right?
so Mike probably gets tired of me traveling the last since December the 27th. I've been out of town every other weekend. Um, Almost every other weekend. I've had 3 different weeks I've been out of town, and then I've had misses where I've been gone 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4
Yeah.
days. And so I just text Mike and like, hey, I'm going to be gone. This is what I'm doing. Can we adjust my workout? He's done hotel workouts with bands with simple equipment. For the most part, though, I have been disciplined enough but I plan ahead, which is I'm not a planner, that I will actually find where I'm going, where I'm staying, and I will try to find a gym close to that area that I'll do a daily pass for, anywhere from 7 to 10 to 15,
Yeah.
$12 a day. So
Same.
that helps out. But I will say Mike has adjusted accordingly with me. He said, "Hey, just keep me in the loop. Are you going to be in a hotel room? Are you going to be in a hotel gym? Are you going to be in a regular gym? You tell me
Mhm.
what you're going to be." And we adjust on the fly. So
Yeah.
the communication is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
And that was going to be my next thing, as online coaches, and we have people in, I think, 41 state, almost every state, like a lot of states now, and a couple hundred clients over all of our coaches. Um, our communication has to be good. And uh like also the accountability piece. So how would you say it's been working with Pursuit, and specifically the great coach Mike, with the accountability, the communication, making adjustments? Like, how's that experience been over the last 6 months?
unbelievable. Mike is very easy to get a hold of. I would say on average, if I message Mike through the app, I'm gonna say on average I hear back from him less than an hour, like
Oh wow.
90%.
That's awesome.
Every once in a while, I mean, if I we're obviously different time zones. If I text him late at night or early in the morning, but I'm gonna say 90% of the time he messaged me back within an hour. If not, I have to check on him because I'm worried about him. But and if he doesn't hear from me in a couple days, then he's good about checking in, saying, "Hey, are you still here? I see you're working out. I see your nutrition." But no, the communication with Mike is there's I don't ever I don't have an issue with that at all. It's like it's out of this world. I mean, for me, for being an online, you would think, hey, this guy, he puts his phone down, he doesn't care, he's gonna, he picks it up once a day. No, Mike is he's at my beck and call. I feel like 24/7.
Yeah. So I know when you first came in, for those of you watching, like, you had another online coach that you were with for a little bit, but the experience wasn't great, mostly because of the communication. Like, it was okay at first, and then after a couple months, it dropped off. And I remember chatting with you, and you're like, "Man, that's kind of my concern." And I'm like, "Dude, don't worry." And obviously, we've promised on that, but I'm really on the coaches about checking the phone. For those of you watching, like, we have them check generally 3 times per day minimum, 6 days a week. So there's a lot of communication, um, and yeah, so that makes me happy to hear that it's been speedy. You got your questions answered. And again, we want to make it feel like, hey, this is your program, this is your experience, even though the coaches have their clients. Um, when you're paying for something, investing in something, we want to make sure you're getting that level of customer service. So, you feel like the experience has been a lot different than when you did online coaching before?
Apples and oranges. 100%. The other program I was with for 18 months, and I can promise you, in 6 months, I've had uh, 20 times more communication with Mike in 6 months than I have with my other trainer in 18.
Wow.
Um, and it's not just regular communication, it's educating, it's questions. I mean, I always tell Mike, hey, I'm not questioning you, but I'm asking, hey, why are we doing this? What's the purpose of this? Why are we doing it? And he answers me, and it's not, like I said, I'm not questioning him. He's obviously the expert, but I want to know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
He's helped too. Some of the things he's done is, like I said, I'm not a picky eater. I'll eat pretty much anything. So every once in a while, I'll say, "Hey, look at my nutrition. What in there would you not eat?" And then he'll correct me. He's never told me not to eat something, but he's always says, "Hey, I wouldn't do this if I
Yeah.
was you." And if you know Coach Mike and you know what Coach Mike looks like, I'm like, "Hey, if
Yeah.
you want to be rich, you do what rich people do. If you want to look good, you do what people that look good do." And so I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, you don't want me eating that? Okay, I won't eat it. I'm good with
Yeah.
that. I can put that on my diet or on
Yeah.
my plan.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, the communication it's apples and oranges. I mean, and I tell people that all the time. I always ask, I just met with a customer, and he was asking, hey, how's the communication with the online training? I'm like, I feel like you probably get more communication with an online trainer than you do with an in-person trainer. Because that in-person trainer, you meet with them on Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. You go in the gym at 9. You leave at 10. You see them next Tuesday at 9,
Yeah.
and that's the communication you get. It's not that way with Pursuit, or definitely not that way with Mike. So,
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the big, I mean, again, you kind of know, like, I've been training about as long as Mike, about 13 years. A lot of our stuff was in person. And part of the reason we even started doing this is because of those gaps. It's not that the in-person trainers, whoever you hire, is a bad coach. They just don't have the tools. And the biggest downfall is the communication and education and guidance outside of those sessions, which, like, is actually more impactful to make long-term results, right? Like if you were going 3 days a week with a trainer, right, and you didn't have online and they weren't helping you with nutrition, I would bet my money that you wouldn't have lost 10% body fat and 30,
Oh,
like you wouldn't have had these results and you would have paid
no,
more. So,
100%.
and I've seen that training in person for 10 plus years, the frustration of these people that pay $700, $800 a month, they're going 3 days a week with their trainer. They look the same like month after month. And I'm like, yeah, well, you don't have the discipline with nutrition. You're not being held accountable outside of these workouts. And if for any person that understands exercise science, the workouts are actually only about 15% of your daily calories burned at best. So actually, we know that the things you're doing outside of the workouts, I mean, the workouts matter for sure, but the things you're doing outside and the habits and the nutrition, um, those things make a huge difference, especially when we're changing body composition, aka burning fat, building muscle, all those things. Um, my last thing, and you've been super insightful. I really appreciate you jumping on. This is great, and I know this is going to help somebody. So my last question for you, Doug, would be, you've had a really good experience. In fact, for those of you, he's already re-signed for his next year because he loved it so much, and has I mean, at least a few people you've brought in. So that's awesome. You shared your transformation on Facebook. People were like, dang, dude, this is awesome. People were wanted to know how you made a change. For those people that are a little bit on the fence, and just try to think back 6 months ago, maybe where you were in your mindset and some of the kind of fears or objections you had, what would you say to somebody that's like wanting to get in shape, contemplating like if online would even work for them?
So I would say if someone come to me and said, "Hey, I want to get in shape. I want to do what you've done. What would you recommend? Would you recommend me going and finding a local trainer, a local nutritionist, and working out? Would you soon me go online? What would you recommend?" For 100%, I would say online. Um, I think the only thing, and I'm going to go a little bit on the negative side here. I think the only thing that you miss without being on about being a person, and this could just depend on how good of a trainer you have to, is am I doing the form correctly? That's my only
Mhm.
concern with being online. Am I doing the form correctly? Now, granted, Mike has told me several times, "Hey, video it, send it to me,
Mhm.
and I'll look at it." I haven't done that, so this all falls on me again. Okay, back in
Yeah.
my court. But I I would 100% recommend it to someone. I talk to people every day and it's like, "Hey man, you want to transform your body. This is you need to be with people like this." And not just everyone that does online training is going to be great. You've got to find the right fit.
Yep.
As Steven mentioned earlier, I got recommended from a mutual or not a person I met online. I interviewed. She has another company. I'm sure very successful, very good trainer, and she interviewed me and it's like, "Hey, you're not really a fit for my program. I do know someone that you'd fit better with." I think I'm very blessed, and I feel like that God has sent me in the right path with Mike. I don't know if I could have done this with anyone else, honestly, without Coach Mike. Like I said, I've been with other trainers and I've had some success, some not near what I had,
Yeah.
uh, not near what I've had. So I would definitely do it again, and I think definitely online is the way to go, especially in my situation with my schedule. I don't have to plan 9 o'clock at the gym every morning.
Yep.
I sometimes I go at 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes I go at 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes I go at noon, um sometimes I go at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been as late at 9 o'clock at night. With a in-person trainer, you can't do that. You've got to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
there at that moment. And so that I like the online deal. Absolutely love it. So it's flexibility with pursuit. Everything is structured. Every exercise is broke down. There's a video for everyone. There, it tells you exactly how to do it. It gives you a video. It gives you a word description, sets, reps, rest time. I mean, it's all. There's no questions. So
Yeah. Yeah, I use it every day for my workouts. And I've actually, as obviously this is my business, so I've downloaded 100 apps to see. A lot of them are actually, I think 2024, we'd have good apps. They mostly suck. They're clunky. They're hard to go through. This is like very smooth, in my opinion. Like you said, it really doesn't leave a lot of questions, but obviously you have open line communication if you do. And yeah, just so to touch on the form thing and Yes, that's a real thing. Like that's, I mean, well, I'm never going to argue that. You can't really replace that. Like and if somebody is so new that they're like, I have to have somebody watching every one of my form, then go do in person. But understand this. I would say go do in person until you feel like all your big main movements you feel comfortable with, then go get an online coach. Right. And part of the reason, and we do have people that get their form corrected and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, as of 2024, that's not a technology. Maybe eventually I could put on a headset, be in your living room. But it's one of those things where most of the clients we work with are kind of actually have some gym experience. They're not brand new. Some of them do, and they do really well. But it's one of those things where, we have to look at, well, what is your main goal? And are we achieving those? If my main goal is to look better, move better, feel better. Form matters. We don't want you getting hurt. If you're doing a exercise completely backwards, then no, that's not good. But for the most part, the form's actually probably the least important part. And if you're, activating a little bit different, okay, well, you doing it right is not going to help you drop 10% body fat. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things we got to look at move the stones and the boulders before we're moving the pebbles. And so that's what I would say to somebody for that. But yeah, I love your take. I agree with everything you said. The online coaching is more of a program that's adaptable. And we work with everyday heroes. We're working with cops and firefighters and nurses and doctors and even salespeople that travel. And for those people, really busy, crazy schedules, they in-person training, even if it was something that could work, it just usually doesn't, just from the schedule standpoint, not including those other things too. So it makes me happy to hear that we've created a program that is tailored to you and can adjust both nutrition and exercise based on your lifestyle, your goals. And that's kind of our pitch. Like, hey, we create those custom programs that are designed for your goals, where you are physically, your schedule. And we always want to make sure it's working for you, which is why we have the weekly check-ins, the high level of communication, because we're looking for this. Hey, dude, we're good. Are we good? Is this working? Are we good? Like all throughout the entire program versus I think the take of a lot of other online coaches are like, here's your program, do this. And if you're not doing it, they're like, do better instead of like, why isn't this working? So I appreciate you jumping on. This is great insight, dude. I'm excited to see where you go over the next couple years. And yeah, I mean, if you've made this much progress, I'm like, dude, Doug's going to be an animal in 6 months, even more.
Mike keeps telling me we're just getting started. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, so we're pregame, and I'm like, wow, I feel like we're halftime, and he's like,
Yeah.
no, we're pregame. So
Yeah. No, dude, again, you've been super dedicated. You've been really positive energy. I'm so glad that you are part of our program. You definitely represent what Pursuit's all about. You put in the work. You don't make excuses. You've been super dedicated to yourself, and the results freaking show, dude. So crushing it.
thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.